Fever Dreams, Caribbean Sea, June the 8th, 2014. Number 1. There's no God. No. That much has been proven. But there's those tower cranes that lift the shipping containers off the ships, picking them up and putting them down and picking them up again and putting them down. Gigantic sci-fi citadels, sentinels of the capitalist thoroughfare, majestic colossi playing Twilight trade route Tetris. And in those shipping containers are all my favorite childhood toys, all my favorite adult shoes, all my animal-tested toiletries and the stuff I forgot to pack, the things I left behind, all the things I'll need to buy 1,000,000 more times before I die. And in some radial control tower beyond the vague Panamanian lights, there is someone who knows what's in them all. Someone who knows where they're going. Someone who knows that they're where they're supposed to be. And that's God enough for me. Number 2. Sometimes I dream that I'm on late-night US chat shows, like I'm there on Jimmy Kimmel, and he says, "Hey, do I do drugs?" And I'm like, "Hey, Jimmy, why? Do you want some?" It's like that time when Bill Maher told Brad Pitt that he rolled the best joints at parties, and Brad just smiled and crossed his legs and said, "Well, hey man, I'm an artist." So then the crowd go wild for my stupid white grinning teeth, and my new best friend, Jimmy Kimmel, asks me back on the show next week. And at the same time, in the studio next door, I'm doing a stand-up bit about why it's so much easier for native Spanish speakers to become rappers. For example, yo no hablo de español. See, like every word in Spanish just seems to automatically rhyme. And as I get to that bit, as I get to the punchline, the audience's hypnotized eyes go wide and they shout and cheer and laugh and scream and they throw all their favorite things at me. They're like, "Here, have this!" And the jokes are so observant and clever and neat. They ask me back the next week. Me and my stupid fucking white Tic Tac teeth. Number 3. There's no God. No. That much has been proven. But there is still something that can make me cry in movies, like that bit in Magnolia, when Tom Cruise and Jason Robards are saying goodbye right before Robards dies, while the camera shows us pictures of his beautiful empty house. And there's no music at all, just the LA rain, and the regret. The goddamn regret is all that Robards can say. And then there's Titanic. So the bit at the end where Jack is treading water while Rose rests on the wreckage and she's like, "There's room for you, Jack." And he's like, "No, there's not. You have to stay afloat, Rose. You have to stay warm. You have to tell our story, Rose. You have to stay alive." But here's the thing. Rose was right. There is room on that wreckage. Look it up on the internet. People have done studies. People have obsessed. People have worked out the exact dimensions of that piece of wreckage, and there are no fewer than 6 or 7 ways they could have possibly arranged themselves so that Jack could have climbed up, and he could have stayed warm, and he could have stayed afloat, and he could have stayed alive. They could have told their story together. They could have both survived. But we don't want that, do we? We want to watch our Leo sink to the bottom of the cold Atlantic and watch Kate Winslet grow old and throw a huge fucking sapphire down after. Number 4. Because there's no God. No. But there is something in that, the fact that we don't want our hearts simply broken. We want them to burst like confetti suns at a Mexican children's birthday party left out overnight to collect dew and crickets. We want our hearts to get the shit beaten out of them and lie gasping in the gutter, staring up at the stars. We want our hearts to explode like warm tangerines and slip and slide around and stain another human's lips. We want someone to know what's in them and someone to know where they're going. And we want someone to tell us that we're where we're meant to be. And that's God enough for me.